Hello, fellow professionals. I hope this finds everyone healthy. In continuing to try and assist you all through this crisis, I wanted to touch on resources that are there for you to utilize as you look to navigate the world we have been thrown into. All of the information I cover today will be available in PDF form and will be provided through your respective section. First, I want to touch on the resources from the PGA of America. Please visit pga.org/coronavirus-resources for up-to-date information from best practices to federal resources. Please also remember we have access to the Member Assistance Program if you feel you need to discuss any issues you may be facing on a personal or professional level. The Golf Industry Relief Fund. This fund was set up to help all golf industry professionals. Please visit the website for more details. Next, I'm going to review the different government resources that are available to you. The Families First Act was signed into law on March 19, 2020. Most provisions had an effective date of April 1st, and they covered employers of 500 or fewer. The most pertinent to you are the following: the expanded FMLA provisions, they created additional sick leave, and it provides tax credit provisions for reimbursement of paid leave. Employees qualify for these provisions if they find themselves in one of the following situations, unable to work or telework due to these situations. Subject to a federal, state, or local quarantine or isolation order related to COVID-19, the stay-in-place or stay-at-home orders do not count. Employee been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine related to COVID. You are experiencing COVID-19 symptoms and are seeking a medical diagnosis. Caring for an individual subject to an order of self-quarantine or is experiencing symptoms. Caring for a child whose school or place of care is closed or child care provider is unavailable. Is experiencing any other substantially similar condition specified by the Secretary of Health and Human Services in consultation with the Secretaries of Labor and Treasury. Under the Act, an employee qualifies for the expanded family and medical leave if the employee is caring for a child. For reasons 1 through 4 and 6, a full-time employee is eligible for up to 80 hours of leave, and part-time employees are eligible for the number of hours of leave that the employee works on average over a 2-week period. For reason 5, childcare, the employee is eligible for up to 12 weeks of leave at 40 hours a week. For calculation of pay, Department of Labor guidance. For reasons 1, 2, and 3, paid regular rate or applicable minimum wage, whichever is higher, up to $511 a day and $5,110 over a 2-week period. For reasons 4 or 6, employees taking leave shall be paid at 2/3 their regular rate or 2/3 the applicable minimum wage, whichever is higher, up to $200 per day and $2,000 in the aggregate. For reason 5, 2/3 regular rate or applicable minimum wage, whichever is higher, up to $200 per day and $12,000 in the aggregate over a 12-week period. 2 weeks of paid sick leave followed up to 10 weeks of paid expanded family and medical leave. Now let's talk about the CARES Act. Now let's talk about the stimulus check. If you are a single U.S. resident and have an adjusted gross income less than $75,000, you will receive the full $1,200. There will be a depreciation of $50 per thousand up to $99,000. If you file as head of household and earn under $146,500, the max is $112,000 or less gross income equals $1,200 depreciation of $50 per thousand up to $146,000. If you file jointly without children and earn less than $198,000 max, or $150,000 or less of gross joint income, should equal $2,400. Depreciation of $50 per thousand up to $198,000. And each child under 16 is $500. Unemployment benefits provides an emergency additional sum of $600 per week in addition to benefits due under state law. Refer to the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation. It's available through July 31st, 2020. It's not limited to an employer's actual weekly wage amount, and it does eliminate the 1-week waiting period, as well as an additional 13 weeks of unemployment compensation eligibility, 39 weeks total. We ask that you please check with your local state's unemployment sites for more details. The PPP program. Who can apply? For-profit small businesses less than 500 employees, 1099 independent contractors, and 501c3 nonprofit organizations. This program provides eligible businesses with cash to meet payroll, including benefits and other fixed costs, such as rent, interest on mortgages, and utility payments. The maximum loan amount is 250% of employers' average monthly costs, with a $10 million max. The loans and the interest are eligible for loan forgiveness and are not taxable. Guide and checklist on the new loan program from U.S. Chamber of Commerce. What is included in payroll? Compensation, including salary, wages, commission, or similar compensation, including cash tips. Payment for vacation, family, medical, and sick leave. Allowance for employee dismissal or separation. Payment for group health benefits, including insurance premiums. Payment for employee retirement benefits. Payment of state and local taxes imposed on the compensation of employees. Employers can use the loan for payroll costs, costs related to the continuation of group health care benefits during periods of sick, medical, or family leave, and insurance premiums, employee salaries, commissions, or other similar compensation, payments of interest on any mortgage obligations, rent, utilities, and interest on any other debt obligations that were incurred before the relevant COVID period. When applying for the loan, you should bring your 2019 IRS quarterly 940, 941, or 944 payroll tax reports, payroll reports for 12-month period, 1099 for independent contractors for 2019, record of total health insurance premiums paid under a group health plan, and records of retirement plan funding paid by the company. The Employee Retention Tax Credit. All employers, regardless of size, uniquely affected by COVID-19 can claim refundable tax credit against the employer portion of the payroll tax, which equals 50% of certain employees' wages paid between March 13, 2020 through December 31st, 2020. $10,000 of wages can be taken into account for an employee. There is a 50% credit available to businesses that have had their operations fully or partially suspended by government order due to COVID-19, or that experienced a 50% decline in gross receipts during 2020 calendar quarter when compared with the same quarter in 2019. Let's now talk about the Social Security Tax Deferral Program. The provisions are available to employers of all sizes and has the ability to defer the payment of the employer portion of Social Security taxes, which are 6.2% of wages, for the remainder of 2020, and 50% of those deferred taxes would have to be repaid by the end of 2021, with the remainder due by the end of 2022. Now let's talk about the EIDL, the loan from the Small Business Administration. It includes a $10,000 advance on the loan that doesn't have to be repaid. The advance is $1,000 per employee up to a max of $10,000, otherwise up to $2 million. The interest rates are 3.75% for businesses and 2.75% for nonprofits, with the maturity 30 years and the first payment deferred for the first year. Now let's talk about who is eligible. LLC, sole proprietor, independent contractor, S Corp, C Corp, general partnership, limited liability partnership with 500 employees or under. Next steps: gather necessary payroll information, discuss with your accounting firm about the best items for you to take advantage of, reach out to your banking institution to discuss loan options, and complete the PPP application. As I have said before, I am here to help. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me with any questions. I have stated this numerous times throughout these tough times, how proud I am to be a PJ member, as I have seen this PJ family come together to provide best practices and assistance to everyone in the business to make it through each of the situations we find ourselves in. Please call me or email me anytime if I can be of service.